So in the sun position, Libra, see, look at that glare. I'm trying to pull in some. In the sun position, Libra, and that's going to talk about who you are. It's going to talk about your vitality, your success levels, your joy, your public status, uh, your ego, anything you. That's what the sun card represents. And we have got the Queen of Cups, Libra. Somebody who's definitely interested in easy relationships, in compatibility. As I was saying, I think that, getting relationships back on track may be of interest to you, Libra. And with the Queen of Cups being you, I would say that that is definitely the case. I feel like some of you Libras have had some time to think about some things and, kind of go back over, like they say, it's always clearer in the rear view. Or, what is it? In hindsight, it's 2020. I think some of you Libras are looking back over some things and maybe seeing where you could have done things differently, and your desire now, who you aim to be in the month of February is somebody who has their emotional connections in order, someone who has their personal relationships on track. You want to be that person. If you haven't been in the past few months, I think this month you want to be that person. I feel like some of you Libras, even though you've been hurt, and you may be a little suspicious of, those people that you deal with, I feel like that there's been some sort of growth in you over the past few months, that while you still may be cautious about how you go about interacting with other people on an emotional level, you still have this open arms thing going on right now. I feel like Libra this month. You want everything to be good. But I think it's not without remembering the things that have happened. And that's a good place to be, Libra. So let's go ahead and move on to the moon position. Let me say, too, that some of you Libras probably have Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces on the moon or rising. And I think it's going to be those of you that all of these things I just talked about, you guys are going to feel that the most. Okay, so moving on to the moon position. And the moon position is going to talk about, your personal life, your subconscious. It talks about your dream life, your mother, or, whoever played the maternal role in your life. This talks about what you need to feel safe, how you receive things, being on the receiving end. The moon is a receiver. You've got the Hermit card reversed. So, Libra, this is a major arcana. It operates under Virgo energies. It's ruled by Virgo. I feel like, Libra, where you may have been holding back, the Hermit card is asking you to maybe come out of that a little bit, come out of yourself so that you can extend your love and your care and your support to other people. And you want to do that anyway. But for some of you Libras who have been hanging back emotionally, not sharing your emotions, not sharing your journey, your personal journey with those people, who you are dealing with, I think that, the Hermit card is showing us that either this is what is happening and that or that it wants you to try to come out of that. I see I see some tough emotions. Maybe there's some things, Libra, that for some of you, some things that you hadn't been willing to focus on and look at. But I think for some of you, Libras, this Hermit reversed is saying that you've been looking at some things too long. And now it's time to let it go. It's time to come off the mountain and go ahead and address these things that may be happening in your personal relationships. In the before I move, okay, let's move on. In the Mercury position, it's going to talk about communications and media and news announcements, stories, writing, probably already said, that's all things social media, siblings, short distance travels. I think I may have said that already. I get the idea. Gemini rules. Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo. Okay, that's interesting. Let's see what's going on with Virgo. This is a Virgo card. So, before I even pull this card, I am feeling like I'm feeling some reinforcement in the fact that Libra, you guys have been holding back emotionally. You've been drawn into yourselves. And I really feel like you're being led to open up. Okay, so here in the Mercury position, you are stuck in thinking about things that have happened, or you have been stuck in thinking about things that have happened. And now you may just be getting your first inklings of wanting to move past that, of seeing that there may actually be something else out there for you. And did I not mention this was a Four Cups reverse? And this card is under the energies of Moon and Cancer. So again, we talk about personal relationships, romantic or not. This can be the personal relationship between you and your child, you and your sibling. In this case, we're in the Mercury position. This could be about siblings, cousins, childhood friends, people that you went to elementary school with. And so, yeah, I was saying, Libra, that I think this card was asking you to come out of yourself a little bit. And I think that this card is showing that that's exactly what you're trying to do, because you're feeling like this Queen of Cups. The things that you have been contemplating on and thinking about a lot in private, I am feeling like you may be now willing to share. You hadn't been, but now you're willing to share. You're willing to talk about it. You are willing to explore those emotions and those thoughts, those things left unsaid, those things left unexpressed. Libra, and I feel like you, I really do feel like a lot of you Libras are going to be coming from a place of love, in a sense of, I come in peace. Even if some of the things that you have to talk about and go over may be tough, may be hard, may be difficult, I do feel like you Libras are saying, I come in peace. I know that there's life beyond this, and I want to explore that, and I want to explore that with you. So let's talk about it. Let's mull over it. Let's, let's analyze it. Let's dissect it. Let's see what it is. Let's get to the root of what these problems may have been between me and you, because I come in peace. How about you? Now, in the Venus position, this could be about, the people that we're dealing with on a personal level, a spouse, a loved one. This can talk about our creative expressions. Venus is about how we receive love, the type of things that we're attracted to, and the way that we like to receive love, the way that we like other people to express their love to us, the style that is comfortable for us when people express love. We may not always get it the way we want it, but Venus can show us the way that we want it. Like my Venus is in Virgo, so I want people to come to me with their stuff together in an organized manner. I want them to come and be as of much of service to me as I know I will be to them. Cut to the crap. I definitely like neat and clean on another person. All of those things, Virgo, with my Venus in Virgo, yeah, it's serious out there with that. So, that's what makes me feel comfortable in the way that I receive love. So that's what I mean by I say Venus shows us how we like to receive love. And Venus can also talk about money, the money that we make. So let's see what we have in the Venus position. Okay, we've got the Emperor reversed. Another major arcana. And this could be one of two things, Libra. And I see we got some fours here. We got 2 fours. This is 4. And the Emperor is the 4th major arcana. So now we are dealing with the energies of the double 4, talking about restrictions and power struggles, hopefully that are coming to an end. Because Libra, this again can, so far as I'm concerned, say to me that as you approach your partner, your significant other, whomever it is that you may be having a personal relationship with, that you kind of tone down the authorities. You tone down the power. You tone down the fire. Now, this could also say maybe that the person that you are dealing with is power struck and power hungry and does not deal. They kind of act like a tyrant, a bully. This could be talking about that the person that you are dealing with does not so much come in peace. But I think you, Libra, you do. And so maybe there is some power struggles a bit. But I feel like, Libra, you shouldn't abandon, don't abandon what's true to you and how you feel. If you are going to be dealing with somebody who is being this tough guy and who's giving you problems, I would say to stick to the path. and stick to the agenda. And in the end, you walk away being this person, even if you might feel emotional about it. Because remember, it looks to me, Libra, like whomever you may be dealing with, you are a little bit suspicious about in the first place. You do approach with caution. So again, it takes me back to Libra, me feeling like you say, I come in peace, but it could be possible that the person that you are dealing with may not meet your peace. So let's talk about what's going on in the Mars position. In the Mars position, Mars talks about hostility, aggression. It talks about how we move. Now, Mars just moved into Aries. So Mars is on fire right now. And I know you can't hardly see that, guys. I'm so sorry. Mars is on fire right now. Let me see if I can get some light. Excuse me, guys. I want to see if I can get some light. I don't know if that helped any or just made it worse. That may have helped. Anyway, so Mars is in the sign that it rules, which is Aries. And this is about, it's a cardinal sign. So it's about starting new things. It can also be about impulsivity and hostility. And, with this Emperor reversed, when I talked about this person could be a bully or a tyrant, if it's not, you saying that you come in peace, if it's the other person that you deal with, with this Mars being in this Aries energy, as great as everything's going to be new. There's going to be new energy where you may have been feeling stagnant and stuck. Things move now, but at the same time, it gets real hot and heavy and fiery when Mars is in the sign that it rules. It's very, very comfortable. You can't tell Mars shit in the sign of Aries because that's his spot. Mars owns that. Mars rules that. And you're not going to come in to Aries and tell Mars what it can and cannot do. You can barely tell Mars what it can and cannot do anyway. So don't let it be, don't let it have home court advantage. You're not about to tell Mars a damn thing. So with Mars move in the sign of Aries, this person that you are dealing with could be giving off that kind of energy. So let's see what's in this position, in this Mars position, to see, where your passion lies. The Nine of Wands upright. Yeah, you're ready to wrap these hostile feelings up. You feel like you've been in battle after battle after battle, and you feel, I think this person is giving you a hard time. You feel like you fought many, many battles with this person. The thing about it is, with the Nine of Wands upright, you can tie up loose ends and you can make all of this crap come to an end. Yes, you have been in some battles and you may have lost a few, but all of those wands that are lined up those steps, so far as I'm concerned, are notches in your battle belt. These are battles that you have won, that you have gotten through. And while you sit there at the bottom of the steps contemplating what to do next, because you don't know if the battle is over, but you still got a wand in your hand that says, but if it does come up, I got you. You still have some fight in you if you need to fight, Libra. But, I don't think that's where you're coming from. That's not what you want to do. Libra, I got to say this for some of you. I think some of this fighting, Libra, has come because some of you have had a lot going on in the relationship department. And what I mean is, having more than one partner. So, there may have, like I said, I think some hearts have gotten broken along the way. I think some feelings have gotten hurt. And for some of you Libras, it could be because, I said where your passion lies, your passion could have been lying in more than one person. And I think that it's caused some things to come up for you that, you're ready. And that is what kept coming to me too. At the beginning of the reading, I kept thinking about the words mending fences kept coming up for me. And so with this, I feel like that is what you're wanting to do. And I feel like you can do that. I feel like you can do that so that you can move beyond any of these emotions, or situations that have made you feel imprisoned. I feel like you've come to a point, Libra, where you can deal with the things that have gone on in the past few months, maybe even 6 months to a year. I feel like you can start to deal with those things, and get a move on, close the chapter, especially with Mars being in the sign of Aries. I actually think that this is a very positive card, even though it can feel like I said, you might be feeling imprisoned. You may be feeling like you're not quite out of the woods yet. But I'm personally thinking that this was a good card to come up for you, because you get to start a whole new life force cycle, if that makes, life energy cycle. I think you get to renew your energies in a big way, Libra. I think you get to really wrap up some of the old crap, some of the old doings, some of the old things that, you've been putting your energy into, and it's going to be beneficial to you. And I'm really feeling like in one-on-one relationships with people. So in the Jupiter position, before I move on, I also want to say that Venus will be retrograding coming up in March. So we are already in retrograde season for Venus. So I think, Libra, you're definitely good, because it's going to give you a chance to go back and look at your love situations and where they may have gone wrong. And, Venus retrogrades always tends to bring back somebody that we may have been dealing with, to kind of relook at those situations. And it may seem all good, but wait until after the retrograde is over before you make any final decisions. I'm feeling like about this Emperor reversed, which could be, this is ruled by the sign of Aries. Did I not say that already? But okay, we got a lot of Aries energy going on, okay? I feel like the person that you're dealing with is abrupt and brash, and you're trying to come in peace. Okay. I also want to say too, I'm sorry, that, okay, so a lot going on. We have entered the Venus retrograde season, even though it's not actually retrograding yet. And it is eclipse season. It's eclipse season, guys. We'll be having our first lunar eclipse on the 11th of February in the sign of Leo, another fire sign. A lot of fire, a lot of passion. And again, I think in this case, this was a great card to come up for you in the Mars position, because we do have so much fiery stuff going on. And I feel like, Libra, that you can come in peace, but you have the energy to stand up for yourself if need be. And also the energy to wrap up any things that have gone on with you that you need to wrap up in order to, be true to being this Queen of Cups. I feel like you Libras are wanting to put into action the things that you've learned through your personal relationships, the good and the bad. Back to Jupiter. Jupiter, it talks about expansion. It talks about good luck. Jupiter will also be going retrograde in the month of February in your sign. Oh, how about that? I think that this is giving you an opportunity, Libra, to go back and really look at, was that fair? You know what I'm saying? Was that an even exchange? Was that really scratch my back and I'll scratch yours? And Libra, if I'm not mistaken, and this just in last month, that was something that was going on with you. The thing about it is, I don't yet see any pentacles in this reading. So I'm wondering if, there was a moment of what seemed like even exchange and give and take, but it didn't really last. It didn't cement itself, because with this fire energy, fire is quick, and cup energy with this water, and this water here is kind of quick. And I lied. This hermit is ruled by Virgo, and that would indicate Pentacle energy, but it's in reverse. So, again, that takes me back to wondering whether or not, if there was a time over the last couple of months where there did seem to be like an even exchange, even give and take, maybe that just didn't cement itself. It didn't last. So, now we're back to having to go back and look at things and look at relationships. And like I said before, say, was that fair? Did everybody get what they deserved out of that? So I think that, Jupiter going retrograde in your sign is definitely going to put a spotlight on that for you, Libra, in your one-on-one relationships. So let's see what we have. I'm sorry. We've got the Tower card reversed. Again, I feel like, Libra, this is you scaling back. This is our come in peace. No sudden shakeups here. I feel like there is going to be some sort of, this does indicate, in my opinion, with this reading, a holding back of what could be aggressive or volatile energies. I think this supports my I come in peace theory. Libra, I'm feeling like that you don't want to go off about things because, you're trying to come from a place of love. That's what you want to do. That's actually the path that you prefer to take. And I feel like, Libra, for some of you, you are kind of taking the stance that even if it means that I have to keep holding some things back, even though I feel like that this Hermit card is asking you, to come out in your truth, I'm thinking, Libra, you're saying, no. I'm not ready to rock the boat. I don't want to rock the boat. Even if that means that I have to continue to keep some things to myself or not really look at some things, not really focus on some things, I'm willing to do that, at least in the month of February, because I'm coming from a place of love. And I do want to implement the things that I've learned throughout these situations in my one-on-one, personal one-on-one relationship. I want to fix it. Some of you Libras, I'm feeling like even if you didn't break it, you want to fix it. And I want to say, too, that this is going to be quite the month for you. We've already got the 3 major arcana with the Hermit reverse, the Emperor reversed, and the Tower reversed. And I feel like this is kind of stuffing some energy underground in a sense. Keeping in mind, though, that doesn't mean that who you are dealing with is going to be willing to do the same, Libra. I think this is you. So in the Saturn position, and the Saturn position can talk about, it's what makes us become responsible adults. It's the taskmaster. Saturn can feel restricting and, it can bring delays and obstacles. But I feel like, Saturn rules time. So Saturn gets to determine whether or not it is your time to move forward. Whether or not, in a sense, you have paid your dues. But once Saturn says, okay, you paid your dues, Saturn rewards you in big grown-up ways. So let's see what we have in this position. What I say? The Palace of Coins. Saturn is saying that was a grown-up, mature decision to make, Libra. To say that I come in peace, to try to implement the lessons that you've learned, to let a butthole be a butthole by themselves, and you hang on to your integrity and your position. You hang, goodness, what am I trying to say? You stand strong, you stand firm, and you wrap some things up. And that's the way that you free yourself, I think, from any imprisonment that you may have felt. And I think Saturn says, good job. Ta-da. Here's what you want. In the most ultimate way. I feel like this starts a cycle of cementing, in the fabric of your being, Libra, a new sense of total groundedness. If that makes any sense. I feel like more than you, just actually manifesting physically in a tangible way, a lot of things that you have been working for because you did work for them and because you did take the high road. I feel like even more than what this means on a tangible level, I feel like it cements a new way of being, like a whole new set of values and morals. And I think that this is how you move forward in the rest of your life. I feel like whatever it is that you've been learning from these relationships is something that you take with you for the rest of your life. This is what your foundation is really going to be built on. And look how fabulous that castle is. This is what you get when you stick to your guns. This is what you get when you take the high road. This is what you get when you can go back and say, I'm sorry. I didn't mean for that to happen. I was in my feelings, or, I was just being a jerk, or, I made one of those bad decisions. And then the universe sees that and says, good job. It's what you came here for. And then you're rewarded. So, as the outcome card, Libra, we have the Six of Swords. And the Six of Swords is saying that you communicate your thoughts and feelings and emotions, those answers, those solutions. This talks about, to me, you have found the solutions. You have sought the answers and now you have them. And this is what I talked about. Going back and dealing with the people in your life and talking about it and being about it. Fixing things. Actually communicating them. Now, Libra, I do feel like that there are still some things that may not make it to the surface this month, because I feel like there are some things that you are, in fact, going to still keep to yourself or not really be willing to focus on because you want to be the Queen of Cups. And I really believe that your reward is going to come from you being the Queen of Cups. But I feel like that, you think about things differently. And this is how you find these solutions. This is how you find the words to say and the ways to communicate. I think this is how you find the courage to go back. Even when you come in peace, I think that you, Libra, this month, you're coming from a real place of strength and courage. And I think that this helps you transcend difficulties, and create this palace of cups. This is the ultimate home. This is peace. This is happiness. This is harmony. Even if you are in there all by yourself, you feel good about it. And even if this is just temporary, because, nothing in time and space really stays the same. We kind of move forward in energies and they change. They may always come back around. But what I'm saying is, even if this is not temporary, so don't get that twisted. Like I said, even if it may be temporary in the physical sense, let's say you actually get a house out of this, well, you may not have that house in 12 years. But whatever it is that you've done and that you've learned and that you've gone back and fixed that led you to this place, this remains with you forever. That's the part that's cemented in you. That's what I mean, Libra.